Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe. Sisi Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nitai Go Premanandi.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hare, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hare, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Harinam Secretariat ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesa Sunyabadi Paskyata Deshatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. We thank Indradyumna Maharaj very much for coming to Bhaktivedanta Manor this morning for this very auspicious occasion, the initiation of so many more devotees into Srila Prabhupada's family. So we're very grateful to have him. We're very grateful to each one of you for coming this morning. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
It's always a bit of a chanting.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivara Dari Jai Girivara Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivara Dari Jai
Girivara Dari. Yasuranandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Yasuranandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Mune Tira Vanachani Jayo Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Muna Tira Vanachani Jayo Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivara Dari Jai Girivara Dari Gopi Dana Vallabha Jayo Girivara Dari Jai Girivara Dari Yasuranandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Yasuranandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Munetira Bhanachari Jayo Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Munachira Bhanachari Jayo Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari. Shri Shivara Kulananda ki, Shri Baba ki, Shri Pajubami Shrimandavandam ki, Rantara Shrimad Bhagavatam ki. Could leave it here, yeah. Is there a Bhagavatam? Hare Krishna. Is there a Bhagavatam? No Bhagavatam? Find it on your phone. Oh, it's up there. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. I'd like to thank the temple authorities, Mother Vishaka, for giving me this opportunity to be with all of you this morning at this very auspicious function where a number of candidates are taking a big step forward. They're going to be taking their vows to be initiated into the chanting of Hare Krishna in the auspice of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So it's their second birth. I mentioned it the other day at some program here in the UK that when someone enters this world, when a baby's born, everyone rushes forward. Oh, who are they? What's their name? What are they going to be like? Let's do the astrology. It's an interesting phenomena. The news goes out, I've had a baby. And the same thing happens when we die. Everyone comes forward to celebrate that person's life. So, first birth is into the womb of material nature. It's nothing to be proud of. But this birth is something wonderful. This is a birth into eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So we thank all of you for coming today and supporting these candidates. We need as much help as we can get to get back home, back to Godhead. Fortunately, we have 3 personalities who encourage us on the path. Narottam Das Thakur says, Hari Guru Vaishnava. We have God himself. He's waiting for us. He wants us to come back to the spiritual world more than we do. He's very eager that we join his eternal family in the spiritual world. We have our spiritual master who takes charge. He's got our back. And we have the assembly of Vaishnavas. So these are our support groups on the path back home, back together. So all of you are very important, very instrumental today. Thank you for coming and giving your blessings to these 10 or 11 initiates on their path back home, back to the spiritual world. So as per tradition, we'll speak this morning about the importance of this diksha, this initiation ceremony, and I thought a very appropriate verse would be the one that you see up there. This is actually the first verse that I personally came in contact with in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Those of you who are my disciples, you know that I, somehow or other, by the causeless mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, I was a working man, I was a gardener. I was putting my former wife through her last year of university in Ann Arbor. And one day by chance we walked across the university campus and there were 4 effulgent personalities singing and dancing in the campus lawn. I'd never seen anything like it before. I was somewhat interested in yoga and meditation, but generally it was with groups who were Indian-based, Indian personalities, but these were all white boys. And they had ponytails and shaved heads and robes and so forth. It was very intriguing. So one very tall, effulgent monk, sannyasi, turned out to be Vishnu John Swami. He was talking about Krishna. And we just walked out of a, could you say, a Pichwai show. University was doing something about India, and they had all these beautiful paintings of Krishna and the gopis and the cowherd boys on the wall. We just walked out of that presentation wondering, who's this little blue boy they call Krishna? So we walking across the campus, and here are these people singing Hare Krishna. So the tall monk, he was addressing this large crowd of students. It was a very intellectual school. So they were, making fun of him and challenging him, etc. And they all walked away, 200. Just me and my former wife were standing there. So I walked up to the big monk and I said, we just saw this exhibition of Krishna. You were singing his name? Who's Krishna? So Vishnu John Maharaj, he said, first let me tell you about my spiritual master. And through his mercy, you'll understand who is Krishna. I said, mercy, Krishna, Guru. Sat me down. He talked to me for an hour and a half about Srila Prabhupada. And I'd been looking for a guru. So I said to Maharaj at the end, I said, how do I address you? He said, I'm Maharaj. I said, can that person be my guru too? He said, yes, of course. But you have to start chanting Krishna's name. So can you teach me the mantra? So he taught me the mantra. And he said, just to help you understand, he said, here's a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The first time I'd ever heard the word Bhagavatam. He said, this is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It was this verse. And we'll chant it all today together. It's very dear to my heart, actually, because Vishnu John Maharaj, Brahmananda Gargamuni, and Subal Maharajas at that time, somehow they entered my life and I became a devotee. It took 4 sannyasis to make me a Hare Krishna devotee. That's how fallen I was. And they stayed with us for 4 days. I had an apartment, it was an apartment next door. They stayed for 4 days. Maharaj cooked and they lectured and they took us on Sankirtan, woke us up 3 o'clock every morning. I told them, I said, you can stay at my place. I said, I do meditation. And I get up at 7 o'clock every morning. I'll wake you guys up. Next morning, on the door, 3 o'clock in the morning, Vishnu John opened the door and he walked in, he hit me on the head with his danda. He said, "Get up! It's time to worship Srila Prabhupada, your guru." I said, "All right." Vishnu John Maharaj. So this is the first verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tvamda Asarshito Dattara Dushtaram Nistitirshatam Kalim Sadvam Haram Pumsha Karadara Ivaranam. Tvam, your goodness. Na, unto us. Sandarshita, meeting. Dattara, by providence. Dushtaram, insurmountable. Nishtirshitam, for those desiring to cross over. Kalim, the age of Kali. Sattvaharam, that which deteriorates. Good qualities. Pumsham, of a man. Kanadhara, Capitan, we say in French, captain. Iva, as. Anavam, the ocean. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The age of Kali is very dangerous for the human being. Human life is simply meant for self-realization, but due to this dangerous age, men have completely forgotten the aim of life. In this age, the lifespan will gradually decrease. People will gradually lose their memory, finer sentiments, strength, and better qualities. A list of the anomalies for this age is given in the 12th canto of this work. And so this age is very difficult for those who want to utilize this life for self-realization. The people are so busy with sense gratification that they completely forget about self-realization. Out of madness, they frankly say, there is no need for self-realization, because they do not realize that this brief life is but a moment on our great journey towards self-realization. The whole system of education is geared to sense gratification, and if a learned man thinks it over, he sees that the children of this age are being intentionally sent to the slaughterhouses of so-called education. Learned men, therefore, must be cautious at this age, and if they all want to cross over the dangerous ocean of Kali, they must follow in the footsteps of the sages of Naimisharanya and accept Sri Sutta Goswami or his bona fide representative as captain of the ship. The ship is the message of Lord Krishna in the shape. The ship is the message of Lord Krishna in the shape of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Agyan Timadandasya Ganangana Shalakaya Chaksurimalitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Shwayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Svapadanti. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. Kartamashi, Nishringadev, Shukadev, Bisto. I was given in India beautiful deities of Lakshmi Nishringa and a beautiful deity of Shukadev Goswami. 300 years old. Shukadev Goswami has the head of a parrot. So I want to put them here. Kripa. So again today we are accepting these devotees who will soon sit at the fire sacrifice as disciples into our Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. It's a great day for them individually. It's a great day for the community. It's a great day for the nation of Great Britain. And it's a great day for the world. This is not an exaggeration. Why? Because every Vaishnava has a double portfolio. For he or she is simultaneously working for their own deliverance, physician, heal thyself, as well as for the deliverance of the human society. How do we know this? Because in his purports to the Sri Chaitanya Shikshamrita, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he writes, quote, "In the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, there are only two principal instructions. Develop a taste for chanting the holy names and display compassion for all fallen souls." That's our life in a summary. Elegance is truth spoken concisely. In the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, there are only two principal instructions. Develop a taste for chanting the holy names, chant from the heart, and display compassion for the fallen souls. How? By going out and chanting loudly in the streets. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So the initiates benefit by being initiated into this mantra. The community becomes stronger by them taking their vows and becoming determined. And society in general becomes benefited because Vaishnavas are not satisfied, with all due respect, like jnanis and yogis, for their own liberation. They stay in London, they stay in Paris, they stay in Sydney, and they go out on the streets or through the internet and they chant very loudly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the day when they become empowered. My god sister Shukasajari Dasi, bless her soul, she was initiated by Srila Prabhupada. I've mentioned this a number of times, but she lost her beads soon after the initiation. Prabhupada chanted on them, and then she lost them. So she wrote a letter to Prabhupada. I'm so sorry, Guru Maharaj, I lost the beads. Can you chant on these beads? And she sent new beads. So Prabhupada kindly replied, in summary, yes, my dear spiritual daughter, Sukasajari, I've received these beads and I'm chanting on them, sending them back to you. This is the last time. So many of my disciples are losing their beads. He said, these beads, those beads, it does not matter. Because at the moment of initiation, you get the eternal blessing of the Hare Krishna mantra. Srila Prabhupada. This is an eternal blessing. If you don't make it in this lifetime, guaranteed, next lifetime, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Significant moment. I was saying earlier that this initiation ceremony has been compared to second birth, to be born again. First birth, as we mentioned, is into the womb of our material mother, but with all due respect to mom and dad, such a birth is nothing wonderful. We do celebrate our birthdays because, well, Why do Vaishnavas celebrate? Or why do we celebrate a Vaishnava or Vaishnavi's birth? Because they're utilizing this life to revive their relationship with Krishna. So that type of birth can be celebrated. But in general, the general mass of people, their birth is nothing wonderful. Because in the material world, birth means, again you die. Jatasya hi zuro mrityor dhruvam janma mitasya cha. Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, one who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. So for the mass of people, it's nothing wonderful. There's one thing guaranteed. We don't know what, you can go to an astrologer, but astrologers in this age are not as expert in the past. You can't really be sure. One thing you can be sure, you're going to die. So it's a very bad bargain. Birth, you're guaranteed death. It's like two sides of a coin. One side is heads, one side is tails. Just like before a football soccer match, right? They flip the coin. And then whoever wins, they get to decide, if they kick the ball off or they receive the ball. So, birth in this world means one side of our life is happy and the other side of our life is sad. And it's different percentage. It may be a little bit happy, a lot sad, or a lot sad, a little bit happy. But that's not perfection. We're like fish out of water. We don't belong in a world of duality. We belong in a world of reality, where life is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. We want to go back to the spiritual world. Birth is nothing exceptional. Yes, there's a new beginning, there's a fresh start, a hope, an aspiration. I'll be successful. Here comes the sun, da-da-da-da. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. It's not all right. Because suddenly the nature of duality is there's the shock. There's a tragedy. I thought people on the internet, in the newspapers only got cancer. And I went to the doctor because I had a little pain here and I've got 4th stage cancer. Why me? Dismay and then death. So a devotee's always a little sober. Of course, we're happy. I remember my god brother Sridhar Maharaj. We called him the Jolly Swami because 98% of the time he was always jolly. But he had his grave nature as well because he was a realized devotee. A devotee is an interesting mixture of always being happy, but knowing the temporary nature of this world, he's also there's some sobriety, as Chanaka Pandit says to us. Dvaja dujana samsargam, bhajasaru samaganam, kuru punya maho ratram, shmara nityam anityatam. It's one of my favorite verses. Give up the association of evil persons. Partake of the association of saintly persons. Perform pious deeds both day and night, and always remember the flickering nature of this material world. What Prabhupada said one time, we have to have a good eye and a bad eye. That doesn't mean a diseased eye. It means to be able to perceive the disease of material existence. Birth, death, old age. Like that. But, however dismal the situation may be, for us, there's always hope in Krishna consciousness. They say, trust no future, however bright. That doesn't go for us. We tolerate, we go through it all, but our future is very bright. We know there's a positive alternative. Because if we take very seriously to this process of Krishna consciousness, which means to take it wholeheartedly, which means to take initiation. You only get out of something what you put into it. So if you want perfection in Krishna consciousness, you have to take these vows. Regulative principles to protect you from the influence of the material energy, and to get back home, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Because Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita that if one takes up the process of devotional service, he or she will never take birth again. This is the solution to all problems. Bhaktyamam abhijananti yavanyas jasmi tatvataha. He says one can understand me as I am only through the process of devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me through such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. This is the panacea for all problems. All problems are solved when you get home, when you get back home to the spiritual world. So this birth, the one we're witnessing, it's an amazing thing to witness this today. This birth is different than birth into this duality of material existence. Janame janame shabe, pita mata paya, Krishna Guru nahi mile bhajahariye. Everyone gets a mother and father, birth after birth. But if one gets the benediction of Guru and Krishna, he or she can conquer the material energy and return back home, back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. Everyone gets a mom and dad, and we respect our mothers and fathers. But if we get the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we can transcend the whole phantasmagoria of material life and go back home, back to God. And in fact, I mentioned the other day that Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, I was reading in The Harmonist. The Harmonist was a publication by Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. I think it was a monthly publication, something like our Prabhupada, we have Back to Godhead. So he would publish this newsletter, this magazine, once a month for many years, and I got a copy of all of them. It's so interesting to see the history at that time and how he was preaching and what he was deciding, and so it was fascinating. And I read in one of the harmonists, he said, at an initiation ceremony like this, I think it was 1932, he actually said, I see no reason why all my disciples cannot go back to Godhead within one lifetime. That gave me great hope. Who's speaking? Okay, I see. Okay. So, yes, this is birth. This is a second birth. So, what is the process of taking birth? In the material world, it means that the father plants the seed of life into the womb of the mother or his wife. He plants the seed. In Krishna consciousness, birth means when the spiritual master awakens that eternal seed of bhakti, devotion for Krishna, that is there within the heart of every living entity. He awakens that seed. As we hear from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna consciousness, pure devotion for the Lord is not something that can be bought somewhere or gained anywhere else. It's eternally in the heart. Jivara Supara Krishnera Nityadas, we're all eternal servants of Krishna. And that seed of love is dormant within the heart. But it has to be awoken. So that's what happens at the moment of initiation. We're like sleeping. So how does the spiritual master awaken that seed of devotion within the heart? By sound vibration. Traditionally, the guru speaks the mantra into the right ear of the disciple, and it goes straight to the heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Just like Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took initiation from Ishwara Puri, the verses that follow, we see an amazing transformation. Of course, it was always there, but he's in the mood of a devotee teaching us, Mahaprabhu. There was a transformation. He was experiencing ecstasy very quickly. It may come slower for us, but the opportunity is there if we take that mantra to heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bali. Mahaprabhu addresses it like this. We're all sleeping and the lap of the witch called Maya. We're in a sleeping condition. So when someone is sleeping, how do you wake them up? By sound. There's different types of sleeping, right? There's a nap. Prabhupada called it a snap. We were in Paris, I remember. Prabhupada had been giving darshan all day, and he said, I'm going to take a snap. I was thinking, like, what's a snap? And was it Nandu Kumar, his servant, he said, that's what Prabhupada calls a nap. Somehow he heard it, and he calls it a snap. So Prabhupada left, and he took a snap. So a snap, you can just, hey, you can tell somebody, wake up, wake up. But deep sleep, brrr, we need an alarm clock. And sometimes we have that little thing that you can take a snooze or something. That's cheating. There's an alarm clock when it's deep sleep. Then, what's deeper than that? Comatose. Sometimes due to shock, accident or something, a stroke, someone goes into comatose. They're there, but the sleeping condition is very deep. But deeper than a comatose is the complete ignorance that we're in. Who am I? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? That's the Jiv Jago that Mahaprabhu is addressing. Deeper than a comatose. We're steeped in ignorance. So we have to be woken up. It's not like a snap, hey, get up. Brrr, time to go to school. Or comatose condition, you just have to wait. Sometimes people are in a comatose for years and they wake up. Where am I? It's even deeper. So how do you wake up someone who's in that deepest condition of ignorance? That's addressed in the same song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jiv Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. Kota Nidra Jayamaya, Pisachira Koli. How long will you stay like that? Wake up, foolish souls. Here's the sound vibration that will wake you up from the deepest ignorance, the slumber, eternal not eternal, but since time immemorial we've been in this slumber, it's worse than a comatose. Here's the sound that'll wake you up. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But it's just a sound. How does it wake you up from ignorance? No, it's Shabda Brahma. It's not ordinary sound. I've said many times that I was sitting with Srila Prabhupada in Hyderabad, at the Hyderabad farm. We traveled by train from Calcutta, a group of devotees with Prabhupada. He'd come to install the Radha Krishna deities in the Hyderabad temple. It was a long journey, it was so hot, couldn't sleep. I had diarrhea, I was sick. We finally got to Hyderabad and Prabhupada immediately went into a preaching program. He wasn't tired at all. We drove out to this farm and Prabhupada sat under a tree and he was giving darshan to the local villagers. I remember one old Mataji, Swamiji, can you tell us what is the purpose for Ram's descent into this material creation? Why did Lord Ramachandra appear on this earth? So Prabhupada chuckled, he said, to teach the difficulty in accepting a wife. That's Prabhupada's humor. But during the lecture I fell asleep. I was a young man, I was tired, I was, sick, and I fell asleep under that tree. Suddenly I heard Prabhupada, why are you sleeping in my lecture? In my comatose condition, I woke up. Prabhupada's looking at me. I said, why are you sleeping when I'm speaking? Prabhupada, I don't speak Hindi, because he was speaking in Hindi. I don't speak Hindi. He said, that does not matter. This is Shabda Brahma. It will act, it will purify your heart. Stay awake. And I can say from that day on, I never slept in class again. Srila Prabhupada ki. So this is Shabda Brahma. It goes straight to the soul. So that sound vibration initiates the getting initiated. It's mercy coming from the Guru. Actually, We're just instruments on behalf of the Lord. We're not that I have the power. I'm simply passing on what's coming through Guru Parampara, this instruction to chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, what benefit do we get from waking up? Something like a materialistic person, he wakes up, oh, to go to school now I have to go to work. No, when you open your eyes in Krishna consciousness, you perceive much more than that. What? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shruta Chitte Karye Udai. When we wake up from our deep ignorance by the mercy of the sound of the Maha Mantra given to us by our Guru Maharaj, we're so indebted. What do we see when we wake up? Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entity. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by constant hearing and chanting, 16 rounds a day, the living entity naturally awakens. We wake up. Of course, it takes a little time, just like when you wake up, right? It takes a little time for your eyes to adjust to the light to see things properly. Or just like when a baby's born. When a baby's born, it doesn't see form, it only sees colors. You have to give the baby a few days, a couple of weeks, and then, mama, papa. So it takes time to come to the stage of perfection when we get this mantra. It's not that we immediately become fully Krishna conscious. No. Some sects in India, the Guru supposedly reveals to his disciple at the moment of initiation what that disciple's swarup is, what his relationship with Krishna is, what is his eternal identity. Or like Ramakrishna, there's that famous story, that Guru, Ramakrishna. He touched his disciple Vivekananda. Supposedly he transferred all his spiritual powers to Vivekananda, but that's not our process. First there's purification. The mantra works to purify the heart. And when all the obstacles to pure devotion, like lust and anger and greed, chetu dharpanam marjanam, they're washed away from the heart, then there's revelation. Therefore Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later. So our process is good sadhana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. All the syllables. When my godbrother Pushta Krishna, Prabhu, formerly Maharaj, he was chanting one time with Srila Prabhupada because he was his secretary, and he was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Prabhupada said, what kind of nonsense are you chanting? And Pushta Krishna said, what? Prabhupada, I'm chanting the Maha Mantra. He said, no, you're saying Ram. It's the Rama, the source of all pleasure. Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Like you get a prescription. I had an infection a couple of months ago and the doctor gave me antibiotics. He said, 9 days, 3 pills a day. They worked really quickly. I took them for 6 days and I threw them out. And the infection came back. So here's the prescription. It's a special consolation for this age. It's very simple, but you have to stick to the prescription. 16. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama. From that, everything will come. And from that process, purification, the revelation will come. Who am I in relationship to Krishna? Our glorious Bhakti Churu Maharaj told me one time, he was in Srila Prabhupada's room in Vrindavan, I think it was 74 or 75, when a devotee asked, Srila Prabhupada, when you leave this world, how will I realize my spiritual identity? You won't be here to tell me. So Prabhupada immediately shot back. Don't worry about your swarup. When the time comes, I will personally come and reveal your swarup. For now, just follow the authorized process of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Now, because this transcendental sound vibration can give us so much, we have to consider it our greatest treasure. It's just 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama. But what does it do? We have to reflect from time to time. It frees us from lifetimes of karma. It frees us from material desires, which are the cause of material bondage. And ultimately, it will bestow upon us prema, love of God. And what type of love? There's lots of different types of love of God. You can choose. Actually, it's already there in your heart. But we're aspiring for Braj Prema, the love of the residents of Vrindavan, for Radha and Krishna, or Krishna and Balaram. Generally, people worship the Lord in a mood of awe and reverence. God is great, and we are very small. And we also do like that in the beginning. We're sadhakas. We're also worshiping the Lord in the mood of awe and reverence. We have to understand how great God is and what is our relationship with Him. That's the beginning. That's why Prabhupada said we read the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam to get a proper understanding of Krishna's transcendental personality. So when we dive into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see His loving affairs. We don't mistake Him as a common lover, transcendental lover. We are educated like that. Just like we worship our deities, Radha and Krishna, in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. If we were to dress Radha and Krishna according to their pastimes in Vrindavan, Radharani would be dressed very simply, and Krishna would be barefoot with a little cloth on and yellow chadar, a kastuba jewel, but bare-chested, running through the forest of Vrindavan. But no, to get establish a proper understanding of God is great and we are very small. We dress them like they're living in Vaikuntha, Dwarka, like we have Rukmini Dwarkadish in Los Angeles. This is the proper moving forward, understanding, establishing that relationship. But eventually, the devotee's love for Krishna becomes so pure that Krishna becomes subservient to the devotee's love. He's God, He's the supreme controller, but for the sake of rasa, for the sake of relationship, He becomes subservient to His devotee. It's amazing. You'll only find this in Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. And it's one thing that really attracted me, that the Lord becomes subservient to the love of His devotee. For example, I need an example here because this is a complex philosophical thing. And sometimes for these complex philosophical ideas, we need an analogy to understand it. So here's a nice pastime to show how Krishna becomes subservient to the love of his devotee. One time, Madhu Mangal, a Brahmana boy, actually the son of Sandipani Muni, said to Krishna, he's Krishna's funny Brahmin friend, always telling jokes, He said, Krishna, you're a Vaishya. You take care of cows. But I'm Brahmana. You should show some respect to me. So Krishna said, well, you see, Madhu Mangal, more important than birth are one's deeds, one's activities. So you look at my activities, Madhu Mangal. They are simply extraordinary. You must recognize I'm a very great personality. So Madhu Mangal laughed and he said, Krishna, just see how conceited you've become. This is Braj Leela. We don't discuss this in public, but this is Krishna becomes subservient to the love of his devotees. So Madhu Mangal laughed. He said, Krishna, you're becoming very conceited. So Krishna said, no, Madhu Mangal, it's true. I have done so many great things. When I was 7 days old, Putana came to kill me, but I killed her. Then I killed Trinivarta. And you saw how I subdued Kaliya, serpent. And when I was 7 years old, I lifted Giri Govardhan. Madhu Mangal, these are my super excellent activities. You must recognize me from my activities. So in joking fun, Madhu Mangal said, Krishna, as far as Putana is concerned, it is said that the demigods protect children and old people. So we all know it was the demigods who actually killed Putana. And now you want to take credit for that? Krishna, as far as lifting Govardhan Hill, Nanda Maharaj, Balaram, all the cowherd men, they were propping up Giri Govardhan with their sticks. We all saw it. And you want to take credit? And as far as subduing Kaliya is concerned, you were finished. You were practically dead. Everyone saw. Your bluish complexion became even darker due to his poison, and you were trapped in his coils. Seeing you, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they fainted. So seeing that, I, the Brahmana, took pity on them. And I chanted a mantra to subdue a serpent. There's a mantra for subduing serpents. As a result, Kali became so frightened that he released you from his coils. Then you started jumping on his head and dancing as if you'd done a great job. So Krishna said, Madhu Mangal, I see. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Braj Bhakti. So this special love in servitorship, friendship, parentalhood, and conjugal love, this is the love of the Brajbasis. And this is our goal. This is our param gatim. And this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. If chanted properly, we can attain that supreme destiny. We have to discuss these things because sometimes we become a little familiar with the process. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, from time to time, a devotee has to go away and to a secluded place without any other responsibilities for the time being, any other distraction, and simply focus on chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And as an example, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who's the great pioneer of this Krishna conscious movement in the modern age, for the last 3 years of his life, he lived in samadhi. He stayed in a hut, and he chanted day and night the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But of course, our Srila Prabhupada, pioneering Krishna consciousness in Western countries, there was a sense of urgency there. So he preached to his last dying breath. And that those words are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We thank the Lord that he did that. To his last breath, gave us instructions, special mercy. So, Srila Prabhupada stressed that proper chanting means to avoid the 10 offenses, to blaspheme or criticize devotees who have dedicated their lives for preaching the glories of the Lord, to consider the names of the demigods to be equal or superior to the name of Krishna, to disobey the instructions of the spiritual master, to blaspheme Vedic literatures, to interpret the holy names, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination. It's no imagination, it's all true. One time, one of my god sisters, she said to Srila Prabhupada, early in the movement, Srila Prabhupada, I mean, is it true that the God Almighty is a cowherd boy? He's blue of all colors. He wears a garland, that Vaijayanti garland that remains ever fresh. He plays a flute. He goes barefoot. He wrestles in the sand with his friends, and he dances with young girls under the autumn moonlight. And he killed monsters. Is this true? So Prabhupada closed his eyes and he thought, he opened his eyes and said, "My dear daughter, spiritual daughter, do you think I would cheat you?" Hare Krishna. Do you think I would cheat you? No. Whatever Prabhupada said, it's as good as Veda. We have the Vedic scriptures, but Prabhupada has mentioned several times. What comes from the mouth of the pure devotees, as good as the Vedas. Even better in the sense that through the mouths of these pure devotees, six Goswamis, Vishwanath, Baladev, we're getting a very intimate look into the spiritual world. And that look of the spiritual world is what attracts us away from the look of this material world. Chanaka Pandit says you can only give up something if you get something better. So Shravanam, Kirtanam brings Krishna Smaranam. If you've got time, chant Hare Krishna, read the Bhagavatam, read the Gita, read Chaitanya Charitam, read Brihat Bhagavatamritam. What is the path back home? And by constant hearing, we lose our attachment to this material world. To commit sin on the strength of chanting, another offense. To consider Hare Krishna to be like Vedic rituals. To teach, or rather to explain, like we're speaking today, intimate glories of the Lord to non-devotees. And to remain attached to the material concept of life, even after so many years of chanting. This is the greatest embarrassment. To maintain attraction for this material world, when we're constantly in touch with the all-attractive. Prabhupada gave many definitions. Eloquence is truth spoken concisely. He gave many definitions of the absolute truth, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. He said Krishna means the all-attractive. So this is not all-attractive. This is dukkhalayam ashashvatam, what we're looking at in this world. Temporary, full of suffering. Yet we remain attached to it. What is this? My dear Lord, I'm drowning in this fathomless whirlpool of material existence. Oh, you who give shelter to the shelterless, Rupa says, please, just this one time, extend your hand to save me. So what does that mean? The long arm of the law? Krishna reaches down? No. He sends Guru. He sends his representative. And by serving him faithfully, over many decades or many lifetimes as it may be, we're blessed. What is our sadhan? We're struggling sadhakas, at least I am. How do we make progress? Kripa. As Shakespeare says, it falleth from above like a gentle rain upon those below. It's all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We're simply his instruments. But Srila Jiva Goswami, he also gives an 11th offense. Those were 10 offenses. Which, interestingly enough, he considers to be the most serious. And what is that? To become inattentive while chanting. Why? Because if you're inattentive while chanting, you'll naturally or unnaturally, you'll commit the other 10 offenses if you're not careful. By being inattentive, you may commit the other offenses. So to be attentive is so important in chanting Hare Krishna. Focused. Eke Kurunandana. Focused on Krishna. I'm thinking, no. In the beginning, we just hear the sound vibration. Namad Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Krishna, Prabhupada said in a metaphor, he's dancing on the tip of your tongue. He's directly there in the form of his holy name. And in the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has said in, get the scripture, he said, when you're chanting Hare Krishna, it includes all of the Lord's pastimes. We've been lecturing for 4 years on the glories of Vrindavan in our Vrindavan lecture series, the glories of Vrindavan. So many, hundreds of hours. It's all there in the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. You just have to hear the mantra. It's sufficient. Focused. Don't let the mind wander. Arjuna, in a humble way, my mind's wandering. Krishna said, bring it back and fix it on the self, on the Supreme Self, Krishna. It's so important. And in the 11th canto, there's a story of the Avaduta Brahmana who lived in the forest. And one day, the king of the land, Maharaj Yadu, was on an expedition, and he passed by. So Maharaj Yadu was so impressed with this Avaduta Brahmana, and he began inquiring from him about spiritual life. And one of his questions related to focusing on one's spiritual practices. Again, we know how the mind wanders. So the Avaduta Brahman, this sadhu, recounted to Maharaj Yadu what he learned how to focus from an arrow maker. How do you his guru is teaching him, focus your mind, so the guru gives a story of an arrow maker to teach him how to focus his mind. We know arrow makers in the old days, they would make arrows by hand. They would take long slivers of wood, and they would spend hours sanding them down and carving them, and that wood had to be perfectly straight, otherwise the arrow would go off course. It wouldn't pierce the heart of the enemy. So one day, this arrow maker he's talking about was absorbed in his trade. He was sitting in his little shop, making sure the wood is perfectly straight and the head's perfectly there. When suddenly, the king of the land came through town. And this king was coming through the town with elephants and jugglers and singers and dancers all along the road. Vive le roi! Vive le roi! Long live the king! Everyone's going, oh, bugles were playing, drums were beating, and flowers were being strewn from the windows on the king. And afterwards, a friend came to the arrow maker's little store, and he asked, how did you like that parade? Did you see him? So the arrow maker said, who? His friend said, the king. Did you see him? The king was here. He came through town, right past your store. Arrow maker said, I didn't see him. I didn't see anything. I only saw my arrows. I was working on them to make them perfectly straight. Focused, all those big commotion going around. So we know the nature of living in a big city like London, even Watford. There's a big mess out there. As soon as you get out of Watford, or the Temple Hill, you're driving, there's traffic. There's so much distraction. So like the arrow maker, we have to be oblivious to it. When we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're in the kingdom of God. We want to be in the kingdom of God. When you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're in the kingdom of God, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, the mantra is there, it's not different than Krishna, but it contains all of Krishna's pastimes. Just leave the world behind. Like Prabhupada told my dear godbrother Satsvarup Maharaj, when he gave him the danda at his sannyasa initiation. Satsvarup Maharaj, take this danda. Never look back and think you've left anything valuable behind, and never envy the position of the materialistic sense enjoyers. So we have to be like that when we're chanting Hare Krishna. There may be obviously there's some attachments because we're not crying when we're chanting. But we forget it all, this world, and we just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. It takes practice. Practice makes perfect. We're practitioners. We're sadhakas. Prabhupada said one time in a mood of humility to teach us, he said it took him 30 years to chant japa properly. Don't misunderstand that. Another time Prabhupada said, in my lifetime, I never knew what was sinful activity. I never forgot the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So like Mahaprabhu came in the mood of a devotee, Prabhupada, to teach us, he said it took him 30 years. Because why? Because it's difficult to focus. I was reading an article that the average time of focus nowadays in America, for Americans to focus, they can only focus for 7 seconds. There's a study done. And then the mind goes elsewhere. Why? Because the mind gets conditioned by these electronic devices that we have, from television to internet to iPhones. When you chant japa, you throw away that iPhone for 2 hours. If you keep it near you, that's what Arjuna was complaining about iPhones. People, the television, the news, it's all so quick. The scenes are popping back and forth. People get bored, they change the channel many times. So in that sense, we are products of this age. And therefore we have to practice being attentive, being devotees. We have to pray to Krishna to help us if we want to be successful. We don't want to be guilty of the 11th offense. And then in due course of time, as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, he feels it's possible we can all go back home, back to Godhead. Because we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's the incarnation for this age. Prabhupada said when many instructions are given, the last instructions is the most important. So many incarnations have come, with all due respect, the Dasa avatars. And they've given their instructions. They've reestablished Dharma at the time of their appearance. But this is the age of Kali, and this is the age when the most merciful incarnation appears. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has one thing to say to us. Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam. Kalo, Nasteva, 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 Katiranyata. Quoting the Upanishads. Just chant. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Stick to the straight and narrow. The word disciple comes from the word discipline. Stick to the straight and narrow. Chant, and we have every opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. And if our spiritual masters see that we are sincere in that chanting, one day they will speak to us the confidential secret. Padam kopyam apishnikde, shishe vacham iti shruti, tach churyatam mahabhaga galoka mahimaduna. The Vedas say that to a loyal disciple, one may speak the confidential secret. Therefore, O most fortunate one, now please hear the glories of Goloka. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So now that wonderful moment is coming where they're going to take the turn and go back to Godhead in earnest, right? Falling, coming in contact with devotees, taking up the chanting, becoming steady, taking initiation. It's a straight path back to Godhead. So what does that look like? It's a big smile. So this is a happy day. Give big applause for the new initiates again. What we'll do is we'll call the initiates up to the stage now. Please take your seats here. And our priest will do the purification ceremony, a mantra from the Garuda? Guru Purana, how we become purified inside and outside. What's the translation?
By remembering Krishna, you can get purified both internally and externally.
Yeah, by remembering the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, one becomes purified inside and outside. And that purification is necessary because we're trying to approach the Supreme Pure. So as we take a bath to deal with the gross body, the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, ego is again purified by mantra. So our priest will go through the purification ceremony. Then, one by one, they will come up and they will take their vows and they'll get their new spiritual names. And you will, with your bugles and your drums and your kettle drums and your violins and saxophones, you'll make a big noise transcendental approval of their being initiated each time they say, okay. So are you ready? Braja Chandrika?
Yeah, she's just coming. They're setting up the names.
Yeah. Braja Chandrika?
She's coming. She's
No,
coming.
I want to talk to her. Come. You can take this away.
Yes.
Braja, come just for a minute. Put that. Yeah. Did you speak to that girl? No, okay. Such nice names. That's it. It's my favorite part of being a guru, giving the names. I don't know. Oh, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Tell the devotee we have one vow. Yeah. We have a nice lady from Italy. She's also going to be initiated on last minute, so we need to set up another plate with the grains and the banana, etc., etc. Okay. We have several devotees taking Brahman initiation as well. Let's give them a big round of applause. Mm-hmm. You can. Yeah, it's okay. You can. This is exciting. Om Keshavaya Namah, Om Narayana, Om Madhavaya Namah. Do the Achmanims. Om Apattava Papittova Sagavastam Kato Piva Yasmarat Pundarikaksham. They're all a little nervous. But that's okay. I was always nervous in front of Prabhupada as well. It's a good sign because you, in front of your spiritual master, a little bit nervous, it shows that you're respecting him, so that when he speaks, you take to heart what he says. So it's so important, that mood of awe and reverence. Mantra?
Hare Krishna. So we'll start with Achama. You can share the Achama cups if there's not enough. Do it twice. So wash both your hands. Yeah. Yeah. Now, taking the spoon to your left hand, put some water in your right hand. Look in the water, chant Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Sip the water.
Sip it? Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Okay.
Same thing again. Look in the water, chant Om Narayana Namaha. Sip the water. Wash your hand. Last time. Look in the water. Chant Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Sip the water. Wash both your hands, chanting Govindaya Namaha, Vishnave Namaha. Now take some water again into your right hand. Sprinkle yourself. And in the pranam mudra, repeat after me. Om
Om
Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksha Sabahya Vyantara Shuchi Shri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu,
Shri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu,
Shri Vishnu.
Hare Krishna. Purified or unpurified, if one remembers the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, he becomes purified within and without, the meaning of the mantra. So we'll begin now. The disciples will come forward and they'll take their vows. The vows are, the disciples can listen very carefully because sometimes the initiates are so nervous they forget. I've even had PhD disciples with 2 PhDs. They come up, no meeting, I forget. So listen carefully. No meeting, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And then chanting 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare. Eleonora, you're first. The first one. So Eleanor, what are the 4 rules and regulations that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds of this glorious Maha Mantra do you promise to chant every day?
Dear Gurudev, I promise no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, and to chant at least 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day.
Okay, thank
the
you
rest of my life.
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna, thank you.
We're very happy to accept you as our duly initiated disciple. And one day I will take you to meet Srila Prabhupada and I'll introduce you with this wonderful spiritual name. Your name means servant of the Saki in the group of Champakalata Devi. From this day forth, you should be known as Chandra Latika Devi Dasi. Thakurani. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thakurani, what are the 4 rules and regulations that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds of this blissful Maha Mantra will you chant every day?
I promise to follow the 4 regular principles, which are no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. And I vow to chant 16 rounds every day from this day forward.
Okay, thank you. We're very happy to, on this auspicious day, accept you as our duly initiated disciple. And as I will tell all the disciples, as all of you are taking vows, Guru means heavy, it means he has a heavy responsibility. So my responsibility is to make sure one day you are sitting in the groves of Sri Vrindavan Dham doing some wonderful service for the divine couple, and all of us will be under the direction of Srila Prabhupada there. So that's my promise. I won't rest till you're home in the groves, okay? Thakurani, I didn't want to change that because it's such a beautiful name, but I added something, okay? So from this day forth, you should be, the meaning of your name is servant of Srimati Radharani, the beautiful queen of Vrindavan. From this day forth, you shall be known as Shri Radha Thakurani Devi Dasi. Shri Radha Thakurani Devi Dasi Ke! Manjari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. My dear Manjari, what are the 4 rules and regulations that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds of this ecstatic mantra will you chant every day?
I promise to follow no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. And I promise to chant 16 rounds daily.
Okay, thank you. You got your name, Manjari, from Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj? He's my worshipable God brother. I'm not going to change that, but I'm going to add something at the end. Because I came second. He's your Shiksha Guru, I'm your Diksha Guru, but both are important in the lives of disciples. I always tell my disciples I'm the Diksha Guru, but if you find an authorized, bona fide devotee in your lifetime, because you're young, that can instruct you, then you embrace those instructions heart to heart. Because we need as much help as we can to get back home, back to Godhead. So you may find other personalities who inspire. You can hear from them and you can worship them. Okay? So, your name means servant of the transcendental love of the Manjaris of Sri Vrindavan Dham. From this day forth, you should be known as Manjari Prema Devi Dasi. Manjari Prema Devi Dasi K. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj K. Naima Sharanya Dasi. My dear spiritual daughter, Naima Sharanya Devi Dasi, what are the 4 rules and regulations you promise in front of your Guru to follow for the rest of your life, and how many rounds will you chant every day on these ecstatic beads with Sri Radha's name all over them?
Dear Srila Gurudev, I'm so grateful for you to accepting me as a disciple, and I promise to follow 4 regulative principles of no meat, eggs, fish eating, no gambling, no intoxications, and no illicit sex. And I promise to chant minimum 16 rounds of Mahamantra daily.
Okay, thank you very much. I also encourage my disciples, as much as possible, set the foundation. Like a house can only stand if it has a foundation. It may be very beautiful. Without a foundation, it can't exist. So we exist on the words of Srila Prabhupada. He said, if you want to know me, read my books. So he's our founder Acharya. He's the master at whose feet all masters sit. So disciples should master Srila Prabhupada's purports in order to become fully Krishna conscious. So read Prabhupada's books. Naima Sharanya is such a beautiful name. I love that name. But the tradition is generally that when one takes initiation, one gets a new spiritual name. So, this is a good name. This is the meaning of your name. Servant of the blissful song of the Lord, which is itself a wish-fulfilling touchstone. Wow, let me say that again. Servant, Dasi, servant of the blissful song of the Lord, which is a wish-fulfilling touchstone. From this day forth, you should be known as Ananda Gita Chintamani Dasi. Ananda Gita Chintamani Dasi K. Woo! Just remember that name when you leave this world, that's enough. Okay, it's fine. Pratik, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And your what?
Good wife, yeah. I'll tell them.
The wife, your wife can come also?
Namrata.
Namrata, you can come also.
And Prabhu, can you sit there so the camera can also sit?
Yeah, sit here and sit there. Husband and wife. Holding hands on the way back to Godhead. She has her tissue here because she's going to cry. So Patrick, what are the 4 rules and regulations that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds of this Yuga Dharma, chanting Hare Krishna, will you chant?
I promise, Srila Gurudev, to follow 4 regulatory principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication.
Okay.
And I promise to chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra daily. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you very much. Your name means servant of the... Oh, baby's quiet. Servant of the... Oh, babies. It's a bright, beautiful day outside. Servant of the ocean of bhava, or deep love, that Gaura, Mahaprabhu, has for Sri Krishna. From this day forth, you should be known as Bhava Sindhu Gaura Das. Bhava Sindhu Gaura Das K. Srila Prabhupada K. Back home, back to Godhead K. Take the 14 worlds with us K. Go Premanande! Namarata, the 4 rules and regulations.
No intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex.
Okay, thank you. And chanting.
I promise you, Srila Gurudev, I will chant minimum 16 rounds regularly.
Okay, thank you. She has the proper etiquette. When she's taking her vows, she's looking at the Guru. Sometimes the devotee is just trying to remember what the vows are. But you're making a promise to a certain person who's taking charge of your spiritual life. So you have to look the Guru in the eyes and say, Gurudev, I promise, like this. And there's that song, don't make promises you can't keep. So I have confidence that these candidates for initiation will follow these vows. Therefore, I'm accepting them as my students. Namrata, your name means servant of Sri Radha, the crest jewel of devotion for Sri Krishna. From this day forth, you should be known as Bhakti Siromani Dasi. Bhakti Siromani Devi Dasi K. I stayed up all night searching for these names. Seriously, I know it's so important for the disciples that they have a name they like, so up until 2:30. And then 2:30 in the morning, I got a text on my phone, like 2:30 in the morning. Who's texting me? Couldn't it be anybody in Watford? It's not the management telling me to be on time for the initiation today. It was Radhanath Swami. What a way to start the day. Radhanath Swami texted me. I wrote him 4 months ago, making a request. It took him 4 months to reply. He's a busy devotee. He said, Dear Indradyumna Swami, I'm very happy to tell you that I will come to your grand festival, Sadhu Sangha retreat in Dallas, Texas this May. I'll be personally present. I can give Bhagavatam class and lead a kirtan. So if you're a traveler, international traveler, join up, come to the Sadhu Sangha retreat in Dallas, Texas, May 27, 28, 29, I think. And 3,600 devotees have signed up. It's one of the biggest festivals in ISKCON. Nicely arranged and organized by my dear disciple, Rasika Siramani and Govinda Charan. So anyway, Hare Krishna. Amit. Hare, Prabhupada said, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Big boy. You go to the gym.
I need to.
I need a bodyguard. Amit, what are the 4 rules and regulations you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds will you chant on these Mridanga-styled beads every day? It's interesting because I was told by one sadhu in Vrindavan that 100, 200, even 300 years ago, this is the style that Gaudiya Vaishnavas would chant on. they chant on, they're carved like little mridungas. Isn't it interesting? They would actually chant on these mridanga-style beads. So I chanted a good round on these beads. What are the 4 rules and regulations, and how many rounds you'll chant?
So Gurudev, I vowed to not eat meat, fish or eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex.
Thank you.
I also vowed to chant a minimum of 16 rounds every day.
Okay, thank you. I understand that you were helping in the organization of that Birmingham festival.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you were there at that Birmingham? Whoa! People were following me around. Wasn't that a wonderful event? So nicely organized. These are, we say, mahotsavas. Mahotsava means like a big festival. Ratha Yatra, Maha Mahotsava. Kirtan, Maha Mahotsava. So because you did such a good job, your name means servant of the festival of Kirtan. From this day forth, you should be known as Kirtan Mahotsava Das. Kirtan Mahotsava Das Ki. I can guarantee you're the only one who has that name, Kirtan Mahotsava. It's a jewel of a name. Yuvraj. Such a nice offering he made yesterday. I almost said your initiated name. Yuvraj, what are the 4 rules and regulations you promised to follow for your whole life? And how many rounds minimum will you chant on these very nice japa beads for the rest of your life?
Srila Gurudev, I vow to follow the 4 regulative principles, which are namely no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And I also vow to chant a minimum of 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily.
Okay, thank you. You gave a very nice Vyasa Puja offering yesterday, even quoting some of my humble lectures on Sri Vrindavan Dham. He remembered all the details about Radharani's ring and this and that, and because this is the real connection with Guru. Vapu is sometimes there, sometimes it's not there. It may not be there forever in this lifetime, but the Vani is there, the instructions are there, and this is the real connection with the Guru. Shravanam, Kirtanam brings Krishna Smaranam. And where does the Shravanam, Kirtanam, where does the Shravanam come from? It comes from Krishna's representative. Just like an ambassador is a representative of his country. If you offend an ambassador, a French ambassador, the whole country is offended. If you please the French ambassador, the French people are happy. So disciple sees the spiritual master as Krishna's representative, and he takes it as if he's hearing from Krishna, because the Guru is just the instrument of the Lord to bring this knowledge into the world, into the heart of the disciple. So I've gone to great, I'm not going to say trouble, it's nectarian service. COVID came, I'm stuck in India, no, I love India. Bharat, I love Vrindavan, Mayapur. And I'm in a room and I see all the funeral pyres burning outside my window literally for 3 years, 2.5 years in COVID. Too dangerous to go outside. And I was a traveling monk, traveling preacher for 52 years. Suddenly Radharani slams the door. You ain't going anywhere. What am I going to do? I'm pacing back and forth. And I see all the library of all these books that I've just collected, because you collect books and they're on the library. All right, I'll sit down and study them. And then because I can't travel and preach, I'll travel through Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. Zoom is like 78% Vapu. I thought that's the way I'll do my most important service. Because, you know, people know me, it's a little embarrassing for festivals and so forth and so on, but really, I consider my most important service to my spiritual master is my disciples. They're my most important service. So I thought, let me focus on that now. So therefore I began giving lectures on Vrindavan, because I feel we have to be reminded of the goal. We know who we are and we know where we're going. But sometimes in the busyness of life we forget where we're going, and we just, to practice the rules and regulations without knowing the purpose behind them. The purpose is to go back to Godhead, as Prabhupada aptly named his magazine. So I thought, let me remind my disciples again and again and again, Sri Vrindavan, Sri Vrindavan, Sri Vrindavan, which means Radhesham, Krishna Balaram, Lalita, Vishaka, Tunga Vidya. This is really where we want to go. I was always thinking like that. So then I've been doing that. Now we're up to about 550 lectures. So a loyal disciple will listen to all the lectures. All those lectures, they'll listen to them again and again. And they're coming out in print form. We had the Govardhan series, the Govardhan book, and just recently the Forests of Vrindavan, the western side of the Jamuna. And by Kartik, we're going to have another volume, the eastern side of the Jamuna. So all those lectures will be in print form for all of you to read for the rest of your lives, and this way associate with your Guru. So please read those books. Here's one gentleman who knows the books, or knows the lectures, which will be the books, and he was able to repeat them yesterday. So we're going to give you a Vrindavan name. Where's Mom and Dad? Can you please stand up, Mataji? Where's your good husband? He's filming. Okay. I want to say that this young man is what he is because of the parents. Really, he came to me at a later stage in life, and I feel like they made a beautiful painting. They raised this boy to be what he is. It's like a beautiful painting, and I'm being called in just to add some details to that painting, like that. You have done, Mataji, but you've done the real work, and I'm your servant. I'm just, the three of us, you on one side, the other on the other, and I'll be in the back pushing him back home, back to Godhead. So also putra means that boy who delivers his parents back home, back to Godhead. So either way, you all work together and part of the family now, and we'll make sure he makes it home to Vrindavan. So a round of applause for the parents. And a round of applause for the parents of all these boys and girls. And a round of applause for my mom. I told you many times, I get carried away, but my mom was a scientist. She didn't believe in God. She was a loyal Phi Beta Kappa graduate of Stanford University. She was an atheist, actually. One time she said, "Son, maybe something's out there, but I don't think so." The last stage of her life, when she had cancer, her whole philosophical concept of life just shattered. She's sitting on the porch in her rocking chair. She told my brother, "I'm scared of death. Will I continue to exist, or will I cease to be forever? I want to live forever." She said to my brother, "Go out in the garage. Your older brother, Brian, he sent that book 20 years ago, Bhagavad Gita. Get the Bhagavad Gita." So he got the Bhagavad Gita, and he took all the dirt and the grime from the garage, and he cleaned it up and gave it to my mom, and she used to read it. She died 6 months later. She used to read it, and she would have little, intelligent woman, the magic marker, yellow, green, blue, ask Brian this, and then she said, "Peter, I've been told your brother had a tape ministry in London." This is some years back. "Whatever is recorded, get me all those tapes." So there were like 200 tapes that arrived one day in a big box. My brother said, my mom, she would sit in the rocking chair reading Bhagavad Gita, and then listening to a tape, and then writing all these. I saw the notebook later, listen to the notes. And, I'm going to ask Brian one day like that. So then when she died, she was in my brother's arms. And he couldn't figure out what was going on, because he wasn't a devotee yet. He became a devotee later. That's another story, chapter of the diary. But she called me on the phone from her deathbed. I was here in London in an apartment. She said, "Brian, take me to Vrindavan." Mom, She had a drinking habit. Mom, you've been drinking again. No. Son, my last dying wish, take me to Vrindavan. Mom, you're playing jokes with me. She used to like chastise me when we'd had conversations, debates, and there was no one that won because she was very stubborn. Mom, stop joking. I'll call you back at 6 o'clock in the morning. Hung up the phone. 6 o'clock, I called her. My brother answered the phone. Peter Butter. Peter, let me speak to Mom. Let me speak to Mom. She died. She died? What happened? She had cancer. But she never told me. She didn't want to disturb your work. What? She didn't want to disturb your work. She said it was so important. What? Well, did she say anything before she died? Yes, she was in my arms. She looked up at me and she said, son, don't lament for me. I'm not this body. The scientist. I'm not this body. And he said with her last breath, she said something really strange. She said, I'm going to Krishna. She died. My mom. So I flew home for the wedding. Been to 3 weddings the last week. I flew home for the funeral. And I went to the funeral home, the mortuary. And I was going to pay the bill for cremating her and spreading her ashes in the ocean. And I came up and I said, sir, I've came to make the payment. He said, oh my Lord, he said, I'm so sorry. We cremated your mother, but we forgot to put her ashes in the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. I said, that's okay. Give me the ashes. He said, you don't have to pay anything. Oh, really? Give me the ashes. He gave me an ashes in a box, and with the $800 that I was going to use to pay for the cremation, I drove straight to the airport because I had a long-term visa. And I flew to India. I had no luggage. Came to Vrindavan, took a taxi out to Braj. It was the middle of summer, it was boiling hot. Put on a gamcha, waded into the middle of the Yamuna River, took that urn, and poured it into the sacred Yamuna River. Mom, your last request is you wanted to come to Vrindavan. Here you are, eternally. So, even our moms and dads, they gave us material birth. But out of respect for them, giving us the life that we have, well, we can also deliver them, if necessary, back home, back to Godhead. So that's the story of my mom. Got a little carried away there, as I always do. Going to give you a Vrindavan name. Servant of Sri Krishna, who delights in Sri Vrindavan Dham. From this day forth, you should be known as Braja Bihari Das. It's almost time for lunch. But these are the golden moments in our lives. Nimesh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Nimesh, the 4 rules and regulations and how many rounds of this Maha Mantra you'll chant every day.
Jai Gurudev. I promise to
look at
chant,
me.
Sorry. No meat eating, fish or eggs.
Okay.
No intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex.
Okay, thank you.
And I promise to chant 16 rounds of Maha Mantra every day.
Okay, minimum.
Minimum.
Okay, thank
16
you.
rounds.
We're running short of time here, so your name means another Vrindavan name. Fortunately, Krishna has unlimited names. With every moment that passes for eternity, Anantashesh is saying a new name of Krishna. So your name means servant of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, the king of Braj. From this day forth, you should be known as Brajendra Sutadas. Brajendra Sutadas. Hey! Rita. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Louder. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Roger, quick.
Rita, what are the 4 rules and regulations that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds of the Maha Mantra will you chant every day?
Jai Gurudev, I promise to chant a minimum of 16 rounds every day, and I will promise to eat no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling.
Okay, you're a very soft-spoken devotee. It's good. Devotees are very humble. So I believe she's the last, right?
No, that's the Italian.
Oh, the Italian girl, okay. So, your name means servant, this is really nice, servant of the wish-fulfilling creeper of love. Everyone repeat after me. Servant, of the wish-fulfilling creeper of love. Oh my gosh. From this day forth, you shall be known as Rasa Kapavali Devidasi. Rasa Kapavali Devidasi K. That's also a very unique name.
Okay. But, what's the mantra? Yeah, she's just coming up.
Yeah. Just, okay, you come. Where is the girl? I can't hear a word you're saying. So we're also initiating 3 disciples. Please stand up, girls. 2. I don't know where the names are. Okay. Sundari, please stand up. And Lakshmi Nishringapriya Devidasi, please stand up. These women have shown themselves to be exemplary disciples, meaning following the regulative principles that the others spoke about with loyal and faithfully, and everyday chanting Hare Krishna mantra and taking on responsibilities. This is Brahmana. Brahmanas took on the responsibility in days of yore for preaching Krishna consciousness, but preaching, there's many ways to preach. You can also help the preachers. You can also have children who will be the future generals in the army of Lord Chaitanya. So preaching, taking on responsibility, and helping support the movement. So these 2 ladies have done that very nicely. So we're giving them the Gayatri mantra, which enables them to come a little closer to Krishna. Because when you get the Gayatri mantra, it qualifies you to touch the body of the Lord. Deity worship is one of the 5 angas of devotional service. So they get to enter into that. I could give many instructions in rabbinical life, but one time someone said to Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, have you heard that saying, cleanliness is next to godliness? Prabhupada said, no, cleanliness is godliness. So that's Brahmana, to remain pure, to perform their duties. And I heard Prabhupada say one time, a Brahman is so clean that after drinking water, he washes his hands. It may sound fanatic, but stick to the straight and narrow as much as you can to get back home, back to Godhead. So let's give these ladies a big round of applause for coming to this time. Okay, so now we will have the fire yajna. They will offer their hearts and souls and everything into the sacred fire. Again, thank you everyone for being here and staying here to give these devotees your kripa, your mercy.
Should we start?
Keep it short. Short.
It's good.
Yeah. They have to change this.
Right now? Okay, change like this.
Before we start.
Sound,
please. Before we start, the initiates can put on their neck beads, or someone can help them put on their neck beads. And do we have flower garlands for the initiates?
But they're
yes. No. Do we have? Can we give them a flower each?
Yes, flowers. Give flowers.
One time Prabhupada said, flowers are the only beauty left in Kali Yuga.
But they're all bad. I don't know. Should we use them? Yeah. Okay. You take it. Yeah. Go. Oh. No worries. Are you going? Yeah. Sure. Just, yeah. Okay. You bought some in the garden? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, just, and then, perfect. Yeah, thanks. Hare Krishna. Yep. Yep. You can take him more. You ready? Yep.
Yes.
You can just give it the fan. Yeah. Waiting for Should we start? Should we start? Yeah. We'll start again. They can. Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunakto Sahavedyan Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Agnimede Purohitai Yagyasya Devam Ritvijam Hotaram Radnatatamam Harihi Om Ishet Vorjitva Vayavasto Devo Vassavita Prarpayati Shrishatamaya Karmane Harihi Om Ognai Ayai Voitoya Toya Grinanoha Vyadatoya Naihotasa Saiva Ahova Nihi Shi Harihi Om Shanti 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 Om Bhur Svahairam Vishnavairam Nama Om Bhuva Svahairam Achyutairam Nama Om Sva Svahairam Narayanayiram Nama. Om Bhurbhuva Sva Svahairam Anantayiram Nama. Now the participants can use the Mriga Mudra. 3 fingers. Yeah? And offer the grains into the fire every time you say Svaha. Sure? Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Svaha Idam Gurave Idam Namama Om Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Darati Svapadantikam Svaha Idam Rasa Charyaya Idam Namama Om Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Litam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha Svaha Idam Guru Gauranga Radha Krishna Sarvashnatebhya Idam Namama Om Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutade Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Svaha Idam Samstavakacharyaya Idam Namama Om Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Svaha Idam Samstapakacharyaya Idam Namama Om Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Svaha Idam Paramagurave Idam Namama Om Shri Varshavanavi Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Shriva Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Nama Svaha Idam Paramagurave Idam Namama Om Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Svaha Idam Paraparagurave Idam Namama Om Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Padam Bhojayate Namaha Svaha Idam Mahagurave Idam Namama Om Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sakchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanagavarayate Svaha Idam Parameshti Gurave Idam Namama Om Gaura Virbhava Bhumistam Nirdeshastajanapriya Vaishnava Sarvabhaumaishi Jagannatayate Namaha Svaha Idam Parameshti Gurave Idam Namama Om Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Svaha Idam Saravashna Tattvebhya Idam Namama Om Namo Mahavanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaudatvishe Namah Svaha Idam Gauraya Idam Namama Om Panchatattvatvakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Svaha Idam Panchatatvaya Idam Namama Om He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Svaha Idam Krishnaya Idam Namama Om Jayatam Surato Bhango Mama Mandamati Gati Matsar Vasapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Svaha Idam Sambandayate Madana Mohana Idam Namama Om Divyad Vrindara Nikalpatrumara Srimad Radnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prishtalipisevyamanam Smarami Svaha Idam Arideya Gopinata Govindaya Idam Namama Om Shriman Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vitadastita Karshan Venusvane Gopi Gopinata Shriyastuna Svaha Idam Prayojanari Gopinataya Idam Namama Om Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Svaha. Idam Radhikaya idam namama. Om Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Namine Svaha. Idam Param Gurave idam namah. Om Vanchika Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Svaha. Idam Sarvashtatebhya idam namah. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Svaha. Idam Pachatvaya idam namah. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Svaha, Svaha, Svaha. Idam Radha Krishna Bhyam idam namama. Om Bhur Svaha idam Vishnave idam namama. Om Bhuva Svaha idam Achyuta idam nama. Om Sva Svaha idam Narayana idam nama. Om Bhurva Sva Svaha idam Anantaya idam namama. You guys are going to stand up for Purna Ahuti. Give me things to Guru. Ask Guru to touch this plate. Ask Guru to touch the plate. Om Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Svaha. Idam Krishnaya idam namama. You put your bananas inside after Gurudev. Please. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tacchayor Avinimahe Gatum Yagyaya Gatum Yagyapataye Daivi Swastinastunaham Swastir Manushebhyah Urdvam Jigatu Beshajam Shamno Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhurvasva Kaya Nashchitra Abhuvadoti Sudavri Dasaka Kaya Satishya Vita. Om Bhurvasva Kastva Satyamada Namagam Kishtam Matsirandasaha Tridachi Dadu Jevasu. Om Bhurvasva Abhi Sunasaki Nama Vita Charitrena Shatam Bhavas Yuzaye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yahu Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Vayu Shanti Steja Shanti Oshraya Shanti Raka Shanti Brahmana Shanti Vaishnava Shanti Shanti Rastu Iti Rastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Angahinam Kriyahinam Vidyahinam Chedbhavet Astutat Sarvam Achitram Krishna Karshna Prasadata Yat Kinchid Vaigunam Jatam Tad Dosha Prasamanaya Shri Krishna Smaranam Karomi. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Gurudev Ki. If you have some kirtan going around, some kirtan, anyone? You can do a parikram around the yagya. Yeah. Very slowly, we'll move all the plates inside.
Hare Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Itai Gaura Hariba, Hariba. Hariva, Gaura Hariva. Jayo Vishnupad, Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Satoshi Shrimad Indradyumna Swami Maharaj Guru Deva Ki. Jayo Nitilila Pravista Om Vishnupad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Shri Rup, Shri Sanatan, Bhatta Raguna, Shri Jiva Gopal, Bhattadasa Raguna, Sadgo Swami Prabhugan Ki. Prem Se Gaho, Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shri Vasari, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha, Krishna, Gopa, Gopina, Shamakund, Radhakund, Giri Govardhan Ki. Ganga Devi Ki, Yamuna Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulsi Maharani Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Oh, glory to the assembled devotees. Oh, glory to the assembled devotees. Oh, glory to the assembled devotees. Oh, glory to Shri Shri Guru Gauranga. Oh, glory to Srila Prabhupada.